This storm will be seriously dangerous. Stop everything you are doing right now, because what I am about to reveal about Winter Storm Fern will absolutely blow your mind. This was not just another winter storm. This was the most devastating weather disaster since the pandemic brought America to its knees, and the numbers I am about to show you are so shocking, they will make you question everything you thought you knew about winter weather. 29 people dead, more than 1 million people without power, $115 billion in damages. And here is what will absolutely stun you. This monster carved a 2,000-mile path of destruction from the Mexico border all the way to Canada. We are talking about a storm so massive, it put 90% of America under winter weather alerts at the same time. That has never happened before in recorded history. But here is the kicker that even veteran meteorologists are calling unprecedented. The temperature contrast was so extreme, it was breaking weather computer models. I am talking about 80-degree temperature differences within a few hundred miles, creating conditions that meteorologists say have not been seen in decades. And if you think this storm is over, you are wrong. What is coming next will make Fern look like child's play. Before I show you the mind-blowing footage and reveal exactly why this storm was different from anything we have ever seen, please like the video now if you want to stay ahead of dangerous weather patterns like this. Your engagement literally helps us reach people who need this life-saving information. Let me paint you a picture of January 25, 2026. 11,400 flights canceled in a single day. That's nearly 30% of all U.S. departures. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy confirmed it was the largest cancellation day since March 30, 2020, when COVID literally grounded aviation. Reagan-Washington National Airport canceled 99% of their Sunday flights. Think about that. 99%. Chicago O'Hare, Denver International, and Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson should prepare for massive delays that lasted days. And here's what makes this even more incredible. Toronto broke an 82-year-old snowfall record. 82 years. Little Rock, Arkansas shattered a record that had stood since 1899. We are talking about 127-year-old records being obliterated. Columbus, Ohio demolished their January 25th record with nearly 12 inches, compared with the previous 4.7 inches set in 1988. Drop your exact location in the comments because I want you to see how this storm specifically affected your area and what it means for future winter patterns. But wait, there is more, and this is where the story gets even more unbelievable. AccuWeather's preliminary estimate hit between $105 billion and $115 billion in total damage and economic losses. Climate economist Adam Smith confirmed this storm will easily cost multiple billions of dollars, making it the first billion-dollar weather disaster of 2026. Here is what is absolutely fascinating about the economic destruction we are witnessing. Bank of America economists estimated Fern could shave 0.5 to 1.5 percentage points off first quarter 2026 GDP growth. UPS suspended operations at their Worldport hub in Louisville and could not deliver to over 3,000 zip codes across Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Oklahoma, and Texas. FedEx activated contingency plans at their Memphis World hub. The U.S. Postal Service suspended Priority Mail Express guarantees entirely. Nashville lost 230,000 customers without power. That is the largest outage in Nashville electric service history, exceeding even the May 2020 derecho. At the peak, 85% of Davidson County was in the dark. The Tennessee Valley Authority transmission system sustained significant damage, with 17 local power company delivery points knocked offline. Nashville Electric Chief Operating Officer described the severity, saying this will be a historic event, and people will talk about it maybe 30 years from now. If this breakdown helped you understand the true scale of this disaster, subscribe immediately and ring that notification bell. When storms like this hit, you need every single update to make informed decisions that could literally save your life. Mississippi saw what officials called the worst ice storm since 1994, with ice accumulation reaching over 1 inch in Oxford. Louisiana confirmed 3 deaths, including 2 from hypothermia in Caddo Parish, and an 86-year-old man who died from carbon monoxide poisoning after running a generator in his garage. Pennsylvania saw 3 deaths, all while shoveling or clearing snow, with victims ranging in age from 60 to 84. The human cost tells the real story of winter's dangers. A Kansas teacher was found dead, covered in snow, after leaving a bar without her coat or phone. In Texas, a 16-year-old girl in Frisco died in a sledding accident when she struck a tree while being pulled by an SUV. Arkansas lost a 17-year-old in a similar all-terrain vehicle sledding accident. In Massachusetts, a 51-year-old woman was killed by a snowplow at an MBTA commuter rail station. These are not just statistics. These are real people whose lives were cut short by conditions that meteorologists are calling once in a decade. But here is what is going to absolutely shock you about what is coming next. The cold is not over. Wind chills as low as -50 degrees Fahrenheit are expected across the eastern 2/3 of the U.S. Grand Rapids, Michigan, recorded -19 degrees, its coldest since 1994. Flint, Michigan hit -24 degrees, coming within 1 degree of its all-time record. The NOAA Climate Prediction Center warns that additional outbreaks of Arctic air are predicted to continue into at least early February. Here is the question I want you to answer in the comments. Are you prepared for these extreme temperature swings, or are you dreading what is coming this winter? Let me know your honest thoughts about potentially facing the most dangerous winter weather in decades. 24 state governors issued emergency declarations. President Trump approved federal emergency declarations for 12 states, including Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, Maryland, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina, and Virginia. The Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, coordinated the response from Washington, saying, "We are anticipating a major winter weather event expected to impact much of the United States population." FEMA activated their National Response Coordination Center and deployed incident management assistance teams to Louisiana, Texas, and Virginia. Resources staged at Camp Minden, Louisiana, included 250,000 meals, 400,000 liters of water, and 30 generators. The agency had 28 urban search and rescue teams on standby across 7 FEMA regions. But here is where this story takes a turn that will make your jaw drop. Energy Secretary Chris Wright issued emergency orders for power grids across the Mid-Atlantic, New England, and Texas to prevent blackouts. Mike Bryson of PJM warned that peak demand could potentially set a new all-time winter peak load. We are talking about electricity demand exceeding 130,000 megawatts for 7 straight days, a winter streak never before experienced in grid operator history. For major East Coast cities, Fern delivered the heaviest snowfalls in a decade. Baltimore got 11.3 inches, the heaviest since Winter Storm Jonas in January 2016. Philadelphia received 9.3 inches, also the heaviest since Jonas. Pittsburgh saw 11.2 inches, the heaviest since Snowmageddon in February 2010. Indianapolis recorded 11.1 inches, the heaviest in 12 years. The storm increased lower 48 snow cover from 25% to 56.1%, more than doubling in just days. For the first time since January 2016, all 4 cities of New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Boston exceeded 6 inches on the same day. Here's something that will blow your mind about the infrastructure collapse we witnessed. The aviation system effectively collapsed, with cumulative flight cancellations reaching approximately 20,000 between January 23rd and January 26th. Individual airport statistics were staggering. Charlotte Douglas led the nation on Sunday with over 1,100 cancellations. Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson saw over 1,000 weekend cancellations, the worst since 2014 snowpocalypse. What separates this from amateur weather reporting is understanding when atmospheric conditions become too complex for simple predictions. The polar vortex displacement that created Fern sent Arctic air plunging deep into North America from an unusually low latitude off the coast of Baja California. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration deployed a Gulfstream 4 SP research aircraft and hurricane hunters to investigate its structure, a rare measure typically reserved for tropical storms. Share this video immediately if you want your friends and family to understand the true scope of what we just witnessed. This kind of detailed storm analysis could help them prepare for what meteorologists are already calling the opening chapter of a historically brutal winter. Winter Storm Fern wasn't just a weather event. It was a stress test of American infrastructure that exposed critical vulnerabilities. The combination of catastrophic ice across the South, where infrastructure is less equipped for such conditions, with record-breaking snow in the north, created simultaneous crises across half the country. Over 700 reports of freezing rain accumulation or ice storm damage were received by the National Weather Service between January 23rd and January 25th. Ice was reported as far south as Corpus Christi, Texas, and near Charleston, South Carolina. Boston recorded its 9th snowiest day on record, with 16.7 inches. The key takeaway for everyone watching this is simple. Patterns like this can change in hours. Continuous monitoring from reliable sources isn't just helpful, it's essential for survival. What we witnessed with Winter Storm Fern demonstrates how quickly modern infrastructure can collapse when multiple extreme events unfold simultaneously across America. One more time, drop your exact location in the comments below and tell me what would make this the perfect winter forecast information for your specific area. I'm personally responding to help you prepare for whatever dangerous weather patterns are headed your way next. Don't miss tomorrow's critical forecast, with potentially life-saving updates about the Arctic blast that is still coming. Over 1 million Americans just lost power, and this storm is still getting stronger. The models got this wrong, folks. Ice accumulations are running higher than forecasted, and we just shattered a 121-year-old snowfall record in Central Park. This storm underwent Bombogenesis off the coast, and it is not done yet. Welcome, everybody. Let's get into it, because this situation is developing fast. So here's what happened. The Weather Prediction Center used language we almost never see in official forecasts. They called this crippling to locally catastrophic. That is government meteorologists saying catastrophic. And honestly, they might have undersold it. State officials in Kentucky just confirmed what a lot of us were suspecting. Ice accumulations are more than expected. The forecasts were too low. And we are seeing that play out in real time across multiple states right now. Let me show you exactly what I mean with some of these numbers, because they are absolutely wild. Columbus, Ohio, was forecast to get maybe 4 to 5 inches of snow. They got 11.6 inches. The old record was 4.7 inches, set back in 1988. They did not just break it, they obliterated it by 7 inches. Central Park in New York City just recorded 11.4 inches. The previous record for this date was 10 inches, set in 1905. We just broke a record that stood for 121 years, folks. Kansas City was supposed to get around 2 inches based on early forecasts. They ended up with 5.2 inches, more than double. Wichita had the same story. They nearly tripled their daily record. This is what I mean when I say the storm exploded faster than the models predicted. Now here's the part that really concerns me. The icy. Officials in Nashville said something that really stuck with me. They said they cannot remember an ice event of this magnitude in terms of impact. They cannot even remember tornado or wind events with this kind of damage. These are people who have been there for decades. Mississippi Emergency Management confirmed they have not seen a storm of this magnitude in terms of ice since 1994. That is over 30 years, folks. Let me run through some of these ice totals, because they explain why we are seeing such catastrophic power outages. Rayville, Louisiana received 1 inch of ice. Oxford and Lexington, Mississippi also received 1 inch. Linden, Virginia recorded 2 inches of ice. 2 inches. That is absolutely devastating for infrastructure. The Greenville-Spartanburg area of South Carolina received 1 inch of ice. This was their first ice storm warning in over 20 years. The models had shown maybe half an inch for many of these areas. They received double that. And this is why we crossed 1 million power outages on Sunday afternoon. Drop your location in the comments if you lost power. I want to see where you're watching from and what you're dealing with right now. At the peak, we hit 1,005,641 customers without power, according to poweroutage.us. That was around 2:14 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. As of this morning, we are still at 822,000 plus customers without power. And here's the scary part. That number might actually go up today. The National Weather Service Emergency Response Team in Virginia said they are expecting outages to actually increase. More power outages are coming due to the weight of the ice and the gusty winds that are moving in. Think about that. The storm is winding down, and outages are expected to increase. That shows how heavy this ice load is on the trees and the power lines. Tennessee got hit the hardest, with 290,000 to 350,000 outages. Mississippi had 157,000 to 180,000. Louisiana had over 122,000. Kentucky had anywhere from 75,000 to 140,000. Nashville Electric Service put this in perspective. They said the derecho a few years ago caused roughly 200,000 customers to lose power. This storm hit 230,000 customers. They called it one of the most significant events they have ever dealt with. And they are warning that restoration could span days or longer. Duke Energy has deployed 18,000 workers from 27 states and Canada. They said ice makes falling branches 30 times heavier. 30 times. That is why we are seeing so much damage. Now let me explain why this storm got so strong so fast. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration confirmed this system underwent bombogenesis. That means the central pressure dropped by at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. That is the technical definition of a bomb cyclone, and this system qualified. But here is what really supercharged it. There was a forecast shift on January 22nd and January 23rd when the storm tracked farther north than originally expected. Meteorologists reported an increasing likelihood that the massive winter storm would merge with a disturbance coming out of the northern plains, and then intensify into an even more powerful system off the east coast. That is exactly what happened. Two systems merged, and together they created this monster storm. The northward shift meant heavier precipitation for Louisville, which got upgraded to 8+ inches. It also meant bigger totals along the entire Interstate 95 corridor. Reports confirmed many areas of the Northeast exceeded forecasts, with 10 to 15 inches falling in eastern Pennsylvania and 6 to 10 inches in northern New Jersey. Peak totals reached 31 inches at Bonito Lake, New Mexico. Pennsylvania reported 20 inches. New York recorded 17.6 inches. Connecticut recorded 17 inches. State officials in Massachusetts called this the biggest storm they have seen in years. Now, unfortunately, I have to tell you about the human cost here. At least 12 people have died from this storm so far. 5 people were found dead outside in New York as temperatures plunged. Tennessee has confirmed at least 4 deaths, including an 8-year-old killed in a black ice crash. 2 men died of hypothermia in Louisiana. 1 person died in Texas, and a 19-year-old college student was found dead in Michigan after going missing without a coat. This is why we take these storms seriously, folks. This is not hype. This is life and death. And the cold behind this storm is absolutely brutal. Wind chills in Minnesota and North Dakota hit -50 to -55 degrees. Copenhagen, New York recorded a -49-degree wind chill. Watertown, New York recorded an actual temperature of -34 degrees. Flint, Michigan got within 1 degree of their all-time record low. Dallas-Fort Worth is looking at potential record lows below 12 degrees, with extreme cold warnings through Tuesday morning. This pattern is not breaking anytime soon. Temperatures are running 25 to 35 degrees below normal across the upper Midwest. No significant thaw is expected until early February. So what does this mean going forward? The storm itself is in its final stages this morning. Snow is still falling in northern New England and parts of Appalachia. The system should fully exit overnight into Tuesday morning, with northern New England potentially getting up to another half foot before it is done. But here is the thing. Recovery is going to take a long time. Utility companies across the region are warning outages could last days or longer. Duke Energy is preparing for potential multi-day outages. Dominion Energy in Virginia is preparing for the same. Emergency management officials warned that heavy ice, combined with low temperatures and wind gusts, could cause power outages for several days. Over 20 states have declared emergencies. FEMA has prepositioned 250,000 meals, 400,000 liters of water, and 30 generators. 28 urban search and rescue teams are on standby. This is being treated like a major disaster response, because that is exactly what it is. If you are in the affected areas, please stay safe. Stay off the roads. Check on elderly neighbors. If you have lost power and do not have heat, find a warming center or get somewhere safe. Are you seeing damage in your area? Let me know in the comments what it looks like where you are. All right, folks, that is the latest on this historic storm. If this helped you out, hit that subscribe button. I will be back with another update as we track the recovery. Believe it or not, there is already another system we need to watch for next weekend. Stay safe out there. I will see you in the next one. This winter storm just shifted again, and folks, the totals are going up. We are talking potentially historic numbers with this system. I have the latest model data, the timing, and the updated totals for you right now. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you are having an all-right day out there, and you are staying safe, because this storm is no joke. If you are new to the channel, glad to have you. If you have not already, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell for the latest notifications. Doing those things is free, and it helps me keep bringing you these updates, especially during active weather like this. Trust me, we are going to need to stay on top of this one, because it is a monster. Alright, let's get right into it, because I don't want to waste your time. You can see this is the latest data, and this storm is absolutely massive. We're talking 2,300 miles of winter weather stretching from Arizona all the way up to Maine. 235 million Americans are in the path of this thing. That's more than half the country, folks. The National Weather Service has issued the highest number of county-level winter storm warnings ever recorded with this system. That tells you everything you need to know about the scope of what we're dealing with here. Now here's what's really important, and why I wanted to get this video out to you right away. The storm has shifted. Depending on where you live, this shift is either really good news, or it's about to make things worse. Let me break down exactly what's happening. So the setup for this storm is what we call a perfect storm scenario, and I don't use that term lightly. We have 3 major ingredients coming together. First, there is an upper-level low that originated over the Pacific Ocean. It moved down toward Baja California, and it is bringing all that Pacific moisture with it. Second, As this low tracks eastward near the Gulf of Mexico, it is tapping into warm, moist Gulf air. Meteorologists call this rocket fuel for winter storms, and that is exactly what it is. Third, and this is the cold part, a weakened polar vortex has pushed southward into the United States, dragging the polar jet stream and frigid Canadian air deep into the plains and the south. Now, here is something really interesting that shows you just how significant this storm is. NOAA actually sent the hurricane hunters into this system. Yes, you heard that right. The hurricane hunters flew reconnaissance into a winter storm. They deployed 25 drop sondes off the California coast to collect atmospheric data. That is a mission typically reserved for tropical systems, folks. When they send the hurricane hunters into a winter storm, you know we are dealing with something exceptional. Let me show you the latest model data now, because this is where things have really come into focus. The Weather Prediction Center is using a blend of 40% the European model, 40% the GFS, which is our American model, and 20% the Canadian model. Over the past 48 hours, these models have really converged on the big picture. They are in much better agreement now than they were even yesterday. Here is the critical shift I mentioned at the beginning. The storm has trended farther north from earlier predictions. Why does this matter? If you are north of Interstate 40, this is actually good news for snow totals. You are probably going to see more snow than we thought a couple of days ago. But if you are along the Interstate 40 corridor, down into the Carolinas and Georgia, this northward shift is intensifying the ice concerns. And ice, folks, is the most dangerous part of this whole system. Let me break this down, region by region, starting out west and working our way east. Oklahoma City and Tulsa are looking at a legitimate blockbuster snowstorm. We are talking 18 to 22 inches of snow. This could potentially break into the top 5 largest snow events in Oklahoma City history. A foot of snow would put this in the all-time record books. The further north you go in Oklahoma, the better your odds of seeing those double-digit totals. Even up into Kansas, cities like Wichita are expecting 5 to 8 inches. Hays has already reported 6 inches, and the storm is not even done there yet. Springfield, Missouri, and the Ozarks region are looking at 6 to 14 inches, with most areas getting at least half a foot. Little Rock, Arkansas could see up to 12 inches, although ice mixing will affect some of those totals in spots. Now we shift to the Ohio Valley, because this is going to be a big snow producer. Louisville is in a really interesting spot. The forecast range there is 8 to 22 inches, depending on exactly where that storm track ends up. Local forecasters are settling on 12 to 15 plus inches for metro Louisville and southern Indiana. Here is what is impressive. Snowfall rates could reach 2 inches per hour at peak. When you are putting down 2 inches an hour, folks, roads become impassable very quickly. Indianapolis is expecting 8 to 12 plus inches. Cincinnati could see 10 to 14 inches in the heavier bands. Columbus has similar numbers, with potential for level 3 snow emergency conditions. This is the real deal up there. Now here is where I want to spend some extra time, because this is where I know a lot of you watching are located. The Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Washington, D.C. is facing 10 to 14 inches of snow, with snowfall rates up to 1.5 inches per hour. This is going to be one of the most severe winter storms the region has faced in years. It will be followed by a historically long cold spell that could extend beyond Groundhog Day. Baltimore is expecting 6 to 10 inches along the I-95 corridor, but here's the thing. Go northwest of the city, and you are looking at 12 plus inches. Western Maryland could see nearly 2 feet. This would be the first significant 6-inch plus snow event since 2016. It has been that long, folks. Philadelphia is in that tricky zone, 8 to 18 inches depending on your exact location. The Lehigh Valley, on the high end, may see 13 to 18 inches. South Jersey will be a bit lower, 5 to 9 inches, because you are going to deal with some mixing. New York City and Long Island are expecting 10 to 18 inches, with near blizzard conditions at the peak. The latest forecast shows 12 to 18 inches north and west of the city, with 6 to 12 inches in and around New York City due to some late sleet mixing in. This could be the biggest snowstorm since February 2021, when Central Park got 17 inches or more. Boston and Massachusetts are facing 12 to 18 inches, with the potential for 24 inches in a jackpot zone along the coastal frontal boundary, where you get that ocean enhancement effect. Alright, now let me talk about the ice, because this is honestly the part that concerns me the most with this storm. Snow is manageable. You can plow it, you can shovel it. Ice is a completely different animal. Ice brings down trees. Ice snaps power lines. Ice makes roads completely impassable, and we are looking at potentially catastrophic ice accumulation from Texas all the way to the Carolinas. Let me explain what different ice amounts mean, because this is important context. 1/4 of an inch of ice starts to cause minor isolated power outages and makes driving very dangerous. 1/2 inch of ice causes numerous power outages. Tree limbs start bending and snapping. Travel is strongly discouraged. 3/4 of an inch of ice is crippling. Large branches are breaking everywhere. Outages last for days. 1 inch or more of ice is catastrophic. We are talking entire trees falling over. Recovery takes weeks, not days. Now, with that context, let me tell you what we are forecasting. Dallas-Fort Worth is expecting 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice from freezing rain, with northern areas seeing 3 to 5 inches of snow and sleet on top of that. Ice storm warnings cover East Texas counties. The freezing rain has already begun, and peak ice accumulation will be Saturday night through Sunday. Now, I know some of you are thinking about Winter Storm Uri in 2021. That event was 139 hours below freezing. This event is expecting about 79 hours below freezing. Still significant, but not quite as prolonged. State officials say the ERCOT grid has never been stronger, with over 90,000 megawatts of capacity available, and they have done 8,000 extra miles of vegetation management since 2021. The bullseye for the worst ice in this entire storm extends from East Texas through southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and into northern Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi, has already reported nearly 11,000 customers without power as of Saturday morning. This is the zone where we could see 1 inch or more of ice. That is catastrophic territory, folks. Now let me talk about the Carolinas, because this is a really significant event for that region. Charlotte just received its first ice storm warning in over 20 years. Let that sink in. The last time Charlotte had an ice storm warning was more than 2 decades ago. The forecast calls for 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of ice, plus an additional 1/2 inch to 1 inch of sleet. Peak accumulation hits Sunday morning through evening. Upstate South Carolina, including Greenville and Spartanburg, is looking at 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice, with areas near the North Carolina and South Carolina border potentially seeing up to 1 inch. Meteorologists are saying the models show higher totals than the 2014 ice storm. This is comparable to the major 2005 event, and here's what makes this worse. The cold air behind this storm is brutal. Post-storm lows will reach single digits in the upstate and near 0 in Nashville. That ice is not melting anytime soon. North Georgia is under an ice storm warning as well. Metro Atlanta is expecting 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice, with areas northeast of the city along Interstate 85 potentially seeing 1/2 to a full inch. The mountains could see up to 4 inches of snow and sleet. Wind chills will reach -20 in the North Georgia mountains. Let me give you the timing breakdown now, so you know exactly when this is hitting your area. In the southern plains and in Texas, the storm started Friday evening. Peak impact will be Saturday night through Sunday. It should be moving out by Sunday around noon. In the Ohio Valley, the storm started Saturday. Peak impact will be Saturday night through Sunday. It will exit Sunday evening. The Mid-Atlantic sees the storm start Saturday night. Peak impact will be Sunday. It will exit Monday morning. In the Northeast and in New England, the storm starts Sunday morning. Peak impact will be Sunday afternoon and evening. It will exit Monday afternoon. For New York specifically, the storm begins impacting the southernmost portions Sunday morning, moving progressively north through late morning. Snow reaches New York City around noon on Sunday, with heavy snow for 6 to 8 hours before transitioning to sleet Sunday afternoon. All right, let me talk about the impacts, because this is where things get really serious. Travel is going to be a disaster. Airlines have already canceled over 13,000 weekend flights. Sunday's 9,400-plus cancellations mark the highest single-day total since the COVID pandemic began in March 2020. Dallas-Fort Worth has nearly 1,500 cancellations, basically a total schedule wipeout. Reagan National has 96% of Sunday flights canceled. LaGuardia has about 90% canceled. Newark and JFK have over 70% canceled. Oklahoma City's Will Rogers Airport has all Saturday and Sunday morning flights canceled. Amtrak has canceled dozens of trains. Interstate 90 in New York had to close westbound due to a 60-vehicle pileup stretching over 6 miles. If you don't have to travel, please don't. Power outages are going to be a major concern, especially in the ice zones. Duke Energy has positioned 18,000 workers across 20 staging sites in the Carolinas, including 1,000 workers at Raleigh's Coastal Credit Union Music Park. They are warning customers to prepare for multi-day outages. A quarter-inch of ice can bring down trees. Half an inch can bring down power lines themselves. Oncor, which is Texas's largest utility, has mobilized over 10,000 workers. Dominion Energy in Virginia is calling this a major severe weather event and warning their 2.8 million customers of multi-day outages. As of late Saturday, over 200,000 customers are already without power across the affected region, and that number is climbing rapidly. Louisiana has 50 to 70,000 without power. Texas has around 49,000. Mississippi has over 20,000. And here's the kicker. PJM Interconnection has issued a cold weather advisory through January 30th, warning that peak demand could exceed 130,000 megawatts for 7 straight days. That could potentially set a new winter peak load record on Tuesday, January 27th. Now let me tell you about the cold air that follows this storm, because this is really important context. This Arctic air is not going anywhere fast. Wind chills in the upper Midwest, and Great Lakes will reach -40 to -50 degrees. Texas and Gulf Coast states could feel like single digits to 10 below zero. Dallas faces more than 48 hours below freezing. This is extreme cold. More than 50 record lows are possible from Sunday to Tuesday, with Texas and southern states most at risk. This Arctic pattern is expected to persist into early February. The Weather Prediction Center is warning that frozen conditions will potentially hinder any power restoration efforts. So, if you lose power from the ice, and that ice is not melting, and the power crews cannot get to you quickly, you could be in a really tough spot. That is why preparation is so critical right now. At least 22 states plus Washington, D.C. have declared states of emergency. Virginia has also received a federal emergency declaration from President Trump, allowing direct federal assistance. The National Guard Bureau reports hundreds of troops from 12 states have been activated, with 8 additional states on alert. Emergency declarations are in place. Governor Jeff Landry of Louisiana, who issued the earliest declaration, urged people to get inside, get warm, get safe, and stay there. He said, once you have checked on your plants, your pipes, your people, and your pets, get comfortable. Cook a gumbo. Ice on the roads is not only dangerous, it is deadly. Governor Mickey Sherrill of New Jersey said this is not an average winter storm. This is a storm the likes of which we have not seen in probably about a decade. Not typical for the region. The NWS Weather Prediction Center summary puts it best. An unusually expansive and long-duration winter storm will bring heavy snow from the central United States, across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and through the northeastern United States. The same storm system will also bring widespread heavy ice accumulation from the southern plains to the mid-Atlantic and southeast, where crippling to locally catastrophic impacts can be expected. So, what does all this mean for you? If you are in the snow zone north of the mixing line, this is a significant but manageable winter storm. Stock up on supplies. Stay off the roads during peak snowfall. Give the plows time to do their work. You will be fine. If you are in the icy zone from Texas through the Carolinas, this is a much more serious situation. Make sure your devices are charged. Have flashlights and batteries ready. Fill your bathtub with water in case you lose water pressure. Have a plan for staying warm if you lose power. Check on elderly neighbors and relatives. And for everyone, the cold that follows this storm is going to be dangerous. We are talking about extended periods of below freezing temperatures that are going to make everything harder. Pipes will freeze. Batteries will drain. Walking outside for extended periods is going to be genuinely dangerous. Now, I will be honest with you. I am tracking another system for next weekend already. We are not even done with this one, and there is potentially more coming. So, if you are not subscribed yet, please hit that button because we are going to need to stay on top of this active pattern. Alright folks, that is all I have for this update. Again, if you have not already, please like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. I know a lot of you have been sharing these videos with friends and family, and I really appreciate that. Getting accurate information out to people is what this is all about. Stay safe out there. Keep everyone in your thoughts. Stay warm. I will see you in the next update.